This telecast is brought to you by the dairy farmers of Wisconsin and Illinois. Whether you're on the court or off, milk, it does a body good. John Deere, recognizing basketball leaders, inviting you to see leadership at work with a whole new line of John Deere equipment. DeKalb Pizer Genetics and the more than 850 Illinois DeKalb Pizer dealers. And by the country companies and their more than 900 agents throughout Illinois. You've got the country behind you.
We're back live at the Assembly Hall in Champaign-Urbana. And now there are six teams left as we present the 1989 Boys Class A State Basketball Championship. Good evening, everybody. I'm Frank Bassoni, and welcome back to March Madness. Earlier today, Prairie Central and Carlisle advanced to tomorrow's Final Four. And tonight we have two more sizzling quarterfinal matchups. First, St. Francis of Wheaton, 26-3, takes on Cinderella Mendota, 17-12. And then Rock Island Alleman, the Pioneers, try to slow down the Warriors of Tuscola, 27-1. And now with more on tonight's first matchup, here are my colleagues Art Kimball and Coach Ed Butkovich.
Thank you very much, Frank. And Ed, here again we have a situation like we had this afternoon with North Green in an underdog role. Mendota much the same way, but the Trojans play primarily a double-A schedule. However, so does St. Francis of Wheaton. It's got the makings of a very interesting Northern Illinois showdown in Class A ball.
Well, they play a great schedule, both teams. Mendota plays, you know, like you said, primarily a double-A, and we know that St. Francis has got a great record, 26-3, so it's a team with an outstanding record against a team that doesn't have a real good record, but the competition they played, I think they're still a real good ball club, and they've got a good inside game.
What a bounce back for St. Francis. They were something like 5-20 when two of these seniors were sophomores, and they've had several losing campaigns. They won their first regional, their first conference championship. They put it all together this year. They're on a roll. Mendota caught fire just about regional time.
Well, that's the time to catch fire if you're going to catch fire. And St. Francis has brought it together as in their senior year, and that's a credit to the coach and to the players that have stuck in there at the program when it was down a little bit, and they come back real strong.
Sometime when you're a surprise, things work out well, and that's worked for both of these ball clubs. All right, we'll be back with more from the Assembly Hall. But now a message from one of your network sponsors, John Deere.
We're back with the coach of Mendota, Mike Hill-Martin. And Mike, first of all, tell us about the tough schedule and season that this Mendota team has accomplished to get here tonight.
Well, the media has asked the question, how can a 17-12 team get down here? And we were 11-12 coming into this, but we play in the North Central Conference with 8 AA schools. Out of the 12 teams, we are 11th in enrollment. And 2 years ago, we were fortunate enough to get into Super Sectional and had lost 3 in a row coming in there. We have a schedule of many AA schools, LaSalle, Peru, Ottawa, Geneseo. I don't want to leave any of them out because they might be mad when I get back, but it's a difficult schedule. We want it that way, and our non-conference schedule is also very difficult.
What about your team? What are the keys to your team winning this game tonight?
Well, we think we push the ball better than anybody we've seen so far down here, but then again, some of these teams are much larger than we are, and so hopefully we can push the ball after baskets. We've seen the teams down here push the ball in rebounds and turnovers, but we push it after baskets.
All the best to you. Congratulations on a great year.
Thank you very much.
Mike Hill-Martin of Mendota stepping in with me now, if you would. This is Michael Harper of Wheaton St. Francis. And Coach, first of all, tell us about your team. What are the keys to its success?
Well, I think the keys to our success this year has been senior leadership. 10 of our top players are seniors. And I think probably offensive balance. We have 2 very potent offensive players from the perimeter, and Jamie Green and Dan Leonard. And Jason Gilroy has given us a real solid game inside all year.
You said once that once you attain your goals, you can see farther. What were the goals you set for this team as this season began?
Well, when the season began, we set 4 goals: to win the 2 holiday tournaments that we were in, to win our conference championship, which we had never done in school history, and to win a regional championship, which we had never done in school history. And we attained all 4 of those goals, and then that's when the looking beyond came into play.
Time for the frosting. What does this appearance in the Assembly Hall mean to your school and community?
Well, it just means everything. Our girls programs in volleyball in particular have been very successful for several years now, but the boys programs have ever had this kind of success in the state tournament. So we're looking forward to our experience down here, that's for sure.
What do you think the key in this game tonight will be?
Well, I think we have to maintain our level of play, the same style of play that we've had in the tournament up to this point. If we can avoid the Assembly Hall jitters, I think we'll be in good shape.
Congratulations. All the best to you.
Thanks very much.
Michael Harper of St. Francis. And now let's go back to the bench with Art Kimball.
Thank you very much, Frank, and both ball clubs continue to prepare for this one. As you see the Columbia High School pep band on the screen right now. Had a tremendous crowd this afternoon at the Assembly Hall, and I know the Illinois High School Association had to be delighted with that, as are all basketball fans. Look like the fans have really warmed to this Class A state tournament. We're going to have a big crowd here tonight.
I think we're going to have an excellent crowd. You know, Tuscola's going to bring a great crowd. And there again, I think the teams that have been here for the first time, naturally, they're going to bring an outstanding group of fans with them. They're going to bring a lot of people for that first time.
Here's a little rundown on the Spartans of St. Francis up in Wheaton, of course. 26-3 record, West Suburban Catholic Conference. And by the way, the last time Mendota got to the Sweet 16, they lost to a West Suburban Catholic Conference team in the Super Sectional at DeKalb, Elgin St. Edwards. And we remember that St. Ed's ball club a couple of years ago. Didn't win in the quarterfinals, but played very well down there. And now here's the rundown on Mendota, North Central Conference member. 595 the enrollment figure, 17-12 overall. We're going to have the presentation of colors here in the Assembly Hall from the Columbia High School pep band and color guard. Here's Steve Adams.
Ladies and gentlemen, after the presentation of the colors, we ask you to stand and join soloist Francis Crawford of the University of Illinois and sing our national anthem as it is played tonight by the pep band from Columbia High School.
Rendition of the national anthem here at the Assembly Hall prior to the evening session quarterfinal round of the state Class A tournament. And now we're ready for the introduction of the two rosters and, of course, the starting lineups. And back again to the voice of the Assembly Hall, Steve Adams.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, let's meet the coaches and players for this third quarterfinal round game featuring the Trojans of Mendota and the Spartans of Wheaton St. Francis. First, let's meet the Trojans of Mendota High School entering this game with a record of 17 wins and 12 losses. Here is the head coach in his 6th season, Mike Kilmartin. Assistant coaches, Mike Wasmer, Mike McKeague, and George Poole. And now the players. Number 3, a 5'9" junior, Rob Doherty. Number 4, a 5'8" junior, Gary Barrera. Number 10, a 5'11" junior, Brian Posey. Let's go! Number 12, a 5'10" junior, Joel Perez. Number 15, a 5'10" senior, Brian Schmidt. Number 21, a 6-foot senior, David Young. And number 24, a 6'1" senior, Tony McLaughlin. And now the starting lineup for Mendota. At 1 forward, a 6'2 senior, 23, Steve Hansen.
Averaging 23 points a game, had 31 in the Super. The key man on this Trojan ball club.
At the other forward, a 6'4 junior, 22, Kyle Schinholz.
He plays well. The Trojans have a shot. 11 point per game average.
At center, a 6'2 senior, number 30, Dan Bone.
Football quarterback, good banger on the boards, pretty good shooter.
At one guard, a 5'11 senior, number 11, Mark Bond.
Defensive specialist, can occasionally douse you on the perimeter shot-wise.
And at the other guard, a 5'10 senior, number 25, Jeff Bond.
Cousin of Mark Bond, quick little backliner.
And now let's meet the Spartans of St. Francis High School of Wheaton, entering this game with a record of 26 wins and 3 losses. First, here's the head coach in his 6th season, Mike Harper. Assistant coaches, John Urich and Jerry Schmidt. And now the players. Number 10, a 5'11 senior, Tim Hughes. Number 14, a 6'1 senior, DJ Peone. Number 24, a 6'1 senior, Chad Lane. Number 40, a 6'1 senior, Scott Cordero. Number 42, a 6'2 junior, Paul Ranstead. Number 44, a 6'2 senior, John Driscoll. And number 50, a 5'10 junior, Rich Krajewski. And now, the starting lineup. At 1 forward, a 6'1 senior, number 12, Dan Leonard.
It was Leonard's 32-footer at the buzzer that gave St. Francis that win over Walter Lutheran in the sectional semifinals. Averages 17 a game.
At the other forward, a 6'3 senior, 34, Scott England.
Solid inside player, tough on the boards.
At center, a 6'6 senior, number 52, Jason Gilroy.
Strong inside player, 15 point per game average.
At one guard, a 5'7 senior, number 4, Mike Healy.
Tough little playmaker, 5'7" standout.
And at the other guard, a 6' senior, 22, Jamie Green.
Average of 16.3 points a game for the West Suburban Catholic League Kingpins. Now the Wheaton St. Francis.
Those are the Spartans of Wheaton St. Francis.
And the officials here, Preston Brewer from Metropolis and Ted Knapp from Mount Vernon. And we'll be back after this from the Country Companies, proud sponsors of the IHSA telecast since 1972. All right, this afternoon, it was Prairie Central by 10 over East St. Louis Assumption in Carlisle. 67-46 winner over North Green. Now, quarterfinal game number 3. Mendota in the traveling purple. St. Francis of Wheaton in the home whites, trimmed in blue and gold. And we're set to get things underway as Preston Brewer flips the ball in the air. Tip over here to the scorer's table right off the bat. And it's going to belong to Mendota's Trojans. Purple and gold will inbound against St. Francis of Wheaton to get this one underway. Assembly Hall filling up very, very nicely for this evening's session. Hansen, number 23, makes the play in from out of bounds. Out front to Jeff Bond on the right-handed dribble, looking to the St. Francis defense. St. Francis starting straight up man-to-man. Mark Bond, left side, Jeff Bond for Mendota. Not brothers, they're cousins. Kyle Schinholz off on the right wing for the Trojans. Cross court to Jeff Bond. Bond now looking down low to Hansen. Hansen tried to launch the jumper and was fouled. And, of course, stopping Hansen will be a big key for St. Francis. The personal foul whistled on Dan Leonard. Leonard, I guess, was the biggest guy in Wheaton there for a while. Ed, he tossed in that 32-footer that beat Walter Lutheran. And he became an instant celebrity.
Well, I think he will if it go down in history for a guy like that.
That'll become a 45-footer, won't it? Hansen drills it.
And everybody over the country about 20 years from now will see the shot.
Yeah, absolutely. Steve Hansen has been a very reliable ball player for Mendota. He had 31 points in the Super. Second throw by Steve is up and in. And so the Trojans from the North Central Conference draw first blood on a pair of Hanson free throws. A little full court pressure, a little trapping zone press now as the two Bonds work in the defensive zone. Bringing the ball up for Wheaton St. Francis, their playmaking standout. Mike Healy, ball knocked away by Dan Bone. Down the floor to Jeff Bond. Rolls it off. And on the rebound, taken out, whipped out of there by Dan Leonard. Leonard throws it away. Shinholz on the interception for Mendota. This is Mark Bond, number 11. Hanson. Three-point threat, most certainly. Traveled that trip.
We haven't played a minute, and there's been 3 turnovers already. That was a good pass there. All
right, we're going to take a look at it here.
It looked like they were in a 2-2-1 right now in the full court.
That was just a plain center field pickoff, wasn't it, by Shinholz?
Yeah.
All right, trying to settle down a little bit. Wheaton St. Francis, a bomb, the three-pointer. Fired up there by Jamie Green. Off the floor, Shinholz. Mendota wants to run and run hard. Here's Dan Bone. Bone pulls it up. Rebound, kicking it out is Jamie Green. The Spartans want to run. They fly down. And Green ties it on the left-hand drive-in layup.
Could be a track meet.
I think they both want that kind of tempo. Shinholz low. Air ball. Rebound. They're going to call Bone, I believe. Push it off as he tried to get to the offensive board for Mendota. That's Dan Bone. Spells it B-O-H-N.
Sure, things are going to get a little better, but it looked like Mendota's a little bit tight on the first couple of shots he took right there.
Bone was severely injured his sophomore year pitching batting practice in baseball. Was hitting the head with a line drive and missed a portion of a season. Came back earlier than they thought he would, and good all-around athlete. Fortunately, he recovered fully. Jamie Green penetrates for St. Francis off the glass. Penetration move is Green having no trouble with the Mendota defense, which cut off nobody that trip, and it's 4-2 St. Francis. Here is Jeff Bond off the glass. Let's see if it's going to count. No defense at the other end either. No basket. Foul was called prior to the shot, apparently, on Mike Healy. Let's see it again.
Well, they must not thought he got it away. It was it right there before he released the ball.
Common violation. Mendota inbounds. 4-2 ball game, St. Francis. Here's Hanson. Fade away.
Good shot. They run a little screener on that out-of-bounds play and got him open.
Hanson may be one of the best-kept Class A secrets in the state. This kid has been a standout player for a long, long while, and I'm sure will play college ball somewhere. It's a 4-4. He's an honor student.
You know, he's come from quite an athletic family, too.
Boy, he sure does. He sure does.
Like he had an uncle that played at Northern.
Yeah, Willie.
Yeah.
His dad played at Mendota Ed.
Yep.
That was a good ball player, too.
Jason Gilroy with the bucket for the Spartans of St. Francis. What a year has been for them. They lead 6-4. Mark Bond, Hanson down the lane.
Nice
Hanson
move.
slipped in front of Jason Gilroy, and it's obvious that he's used to playing against bigger guys on the inside because a good double fake, and pump fake, and got it home.
So far, it's get the ball to Hanson.
Tied at 6. Healy, right side to Dan Leonard. Back to Healy. Healy, the playmaker. He looks off to England, dishes the ball back to him. 16-footer.
Good pass.
Scott England, nothing but net. 8-6 St. Francis. Here is Hanson on the dribble drive. He got a blocking foul, and it goes against the Spartans in this case. And picking it up is Dan Leonard, his second personal foul. That could be a big call early on in this one. I'm going to see it again. Here we go.
They're coming down the floor quick.
Boom.
Coach Gil Martin said they get the ball up and down the floor quick. I believe him.
Inbounds pass to Mark Bond out front. Mark, an accomplished football player. Mendota went to, he's had 2 good football seasons back-to-back. Shinholz inside.
Pass inside.
Lost to eventual state 3A champion Bishop McNamara 2 years ago in the semifinals. Were upset by Harvard in the first round last season, but made the playoffs.
Art, I believe Hanson and Shinholz were cousins, too.
Everybody up there is related, Ed, believe me. Drive in up by Leonard. Misfired. Mendota comes back down. 8-8 ball game. Here's Hanson. 2-pointer. Steve has ignited him. He has 8 points out of his club's 10. St. Francis will have to do a job on Hanson or they'll be in trouble. Just like Mendota must stop Leonard. England is at the baseline. He's number 34. Now with the basketball, trying to penetrate is Dan Leonard on the perimeter, and there's a 3-pointer. As getting the shot down is Mike Healy. Healy normally not a heavy scorer, but obviously can pump up the 3-pointer on the drive, and it's Jeff Bond. Jeff Bond transferred over to Mendota a couple of years ago from Pawpaw High School. 12-11. Trojans by 1 over the Spartans in a shootout thus far. Gilroy loses it. Back to the middle. Let's see. I think it's on Bone. Who they're going to call the foul on is Ted Knapp. Angles over.
You know, Hansen looks taller than 6'2", doesn't he?
He plays taller, too.
Yeah, he really does. Foul went to Hansen.
You know, Coach, that's a good observation. He does look about 6'4". He's made 51 threes, and Dan Leonard of St. Francis made 52 threes on the season.
Chance to tie for Jason Gilroy of the Spartans. Good look at Jason. Well, it was a brief look, but there he is. Gilroy on the season is averaging 17.4 points per game, and at the free throw line, he is a .657 free throw shooter. Strong inside player at 6'6". He's the biggest man on the floor. There's a good look at Jason.
Good release on that shot.
So it's a 12-12 contest. 3:56 for the opening quarter. Bond to Bone in the corner. That's Jeff Bond to Mark Bond. Healy has the defensive assignment on Mark Bond. A battle of man-to-man defenses. Here's Shitholz holding high for Mendota with England on it. Hansen being checked off out front. New man with the coverage on Hansen, and Hansen's shot does not go, but the rebound does by Jeff Bond. Jeff Bond cleaned the board, popped it in. Tim Hughes has come in the ball game, number 10, and they've got him camped on Hansen right now as Mendota leads at 14-12.
Jeff Bond only 5'10", but he got that offensive rebound.
Gilroy sweeps to the glass, up and in. Underhand layup by Jason Gilroy. Neither one of these clubs going to set any records on defense, but they can both put it in the hole. Here's Jeff Bond. Bond cross court to Bone. Bone pops it. It won't go. Rebound. Pulled out of there by Hughes for Wheaton St. Francis. Tim Hughes, 5'11", 145, 18-year-old senior. Hughes going to hold it at three-point range and got it. Back iron, Bone. Bone kind of backed Gilroy out of there, as you can see. Got the ball down. Here's Mark Bond, number 11. Senior veteran off the left wing. Free throw line extended. Ball is knocked away from Hansen. The steal to Mike Healy. To Gilroy to Healy. And Healy was clobbered. Man, oh man, to Jeff Bond tomahawk him. Foul number 1 on Jeff Bond. Good break.
Beautiful teamwork.
Yep. Going to see it again. There's a steal from Hansen by Mike Healy. There you go, Ed.
Wow, beautiful.
The basket is good by Healy. So Healy has a total of 5 points so far, and he can turn it into a three-point play. St. Francis of Wheaton leads it by 2. Two teams will want to get it out and push it up the floor. Gary Barrera has checked on for Mendota. He's wearing number 4. And Brian Schmidt, number 15 for Mendota. Free throw misses, but Gilroy boards it, pops it, got it. Jason Gilroy with 7. This is the biggest lead of the ballgame. St. Francis leads it by 4, and here's a traveling call against Mendota. And we have an official timeout. With 2:33 to go in the first quarter, 18-14 St. Francis. And let's take timeout for this from one of your network sponsors, DeKalb Pfizer Genetics. Frank Mazzoni's done a little leaves dropping. Frank, what did you come up with?
Well, St. Francis coach Michael Harper told his team 2 things. 1, get back on defense. 2, don't let Steve Hansen dominate this game.
Well, I'd say that's good advice from the St. Francis standpoint. Mendota can say the same thing about getting back on defense, though, as far as that's concerned. St. Francis handling now against, looks like Mendota maybe has gone, let's see, have they gone zone? No, they're still man-to-man.
Man-to-man.
Inside, Gilroy had a easy shot, really, but it wasn't as easy as it appeared. You might have noticed, suddenly Mendota almost got a 2-man sag on the inside on Gilroy, and the Trojans have the basketball. Here's Brian Schmidt. This kid's an excellent three-point shooter. Has not had the year this year he had as a junior, but he does have amazing range, and no bigger than he is. Here's Bone. The old double team on Hansen. Look at Hansen, number 23 inside. There's Shitholz. Shitholz bowled down the lane, and Mendota getting just 1 shot right now is what St. Francis doing a good job on the defensive board. Well, out on the floor, the Spartans ball handle. Healy into Gilroy at the baseline. Here's a collision, a drive in, and a foul. Foul is on John Driscoll, and a pretty good acting job, I believe, on the part of Brian Schmidt of Mendota. who really got himself camped. Let's take a look and see what kind of, if this is an Academy Award-winning performance, Ed.
Well, I don't know. He took a pretty good
He took a
pretty good shot.
He's quick. He got over there. No doubt about it.
Gilroy made a nice pass to that man over on the weak side. He's a good passer for a big fella.
Here's Gary Barrera.
For anybody.
To Brian Schmidt. 18-14 game. St. Francis leads by a pair of buckets. Holding Hansen. Hansen loses the basketball. Taken away. Down the floor quickly, St. Francis. Tim Hughes to Healy.
Good movement.
Gilroy.
Good movement.
Can't get the ball down, and Hansen rebounds. Hansen off to Barrera, near sideline as we view it here. You see it on the TV set, opposite side of the floor. Near sideline is in front of the scorer's table as far as we're concerned.
Had the right idea on that pass inside, just couldn't handle it again.
Tony McLaughlin checking in for Mendota, and now Mark Bond's going to come back in. Dan Bone goes out, and Gary Barrera is going to leave. No lineup change for St. Francis. They're sticking with the same combination, which means John Driscoll out there wearing number 44. 34 is England, 4 is Healy, number 10 is Tim Hughes, and I guess that pretty well does, except for Gilroy, number 52. Still 18-14.
Like a lob.
There's the lob to Gilroy. Reverses it, got it.
Oh, beautiful move.
Pretty play, Jason Gilroy on the lob out front. 6-point St. Francis lead with a minute to go in the first quarter. 20-14, Mark Bond. Tony McLaughlin. Schenholz had it, knocked away. Schmidt dives for the ball and is going to be called for the foul for Mendota.
You know, we talked a while ago about Hansen coming from an athletic family. You know, Mark Bond had a twin brother that went to the state tournament this year in wrestling.
Yeah. Okay, we're going to see it again. Here's that lob to Gilroy for the field goal, Ed.
We used to have a play we called the zip, and that was one of the plays we had on a lob like that.
Great play by Gilroy. Great body control. Nice reverse layup. Well, Mendota has stuck Bone back in the ball game. He comes in for Schenholz, and Jeff Bond is back in. So both Bonds are back in, along with McLaughlin, Bone, and Hansen up front. In a 20-14 ball game. 48 seconds for the quarter. They work low to Gilroy. Gilroy turns, faces the basket, missed it. Good power move inside. Shot is up and in on the inside, and gives the field goal to Jamie Green.
I believe Gilroy's shot was partially blocked there last time down.
Yeah, Green really worked well for position. 27 seconds to go in the quarter. 8-point lead to St. Francis. Mendota almost lost it. Hansen retrieved, then the ball swatted out of bounds in the corner of the floor. So Mendota needs a field goal right now. They're on the verge of going down 10. 23 seconds left to go in the opening quarter. Feed into Hansen. Again, knocked out of bounds. St. Francis becoming very, very aggressive. Both clubs have been man-to-man teams so far. England has the defensive assignment on Hansen. You see Hansen holding the ball high. Comes out front to Mark Bond. Here's Mark. Mendota wants a good shot here at the end of the game's first quarter. I'm not sure they can hold it for 18 seconds. These teams want to go. McLaughlin goes to the basket and drew the foul on Gilroy. Foul number 1 on Jason Gilroy. Tony McLaughlin will be at the free throw line for Mendota. Shooting 2. Let's see what kind of a free throw shooter McLaughlin is on the season. He just hasn't been there all that much. 10 of 17, just 589. 2 shots.
You know, he come off the bench at the Super and put in a big shot late in that game, I think. Also understand he's a great hustler. He gets in foul trouble a lot, though.
Yeah, he's been about the number 1 frontline reserve, I think, up in the forwards and center position, alternately for Mike Kilmartin, second throw. Kilmartin went to Iowa State, by the way, to school. Michael Harper is an Eastern Illinois alumnus. 22-16. St. Francis by 6 with 9 seconds to go in the opening quarter. Bringing the ball across is a Healy. Low to England. England got the bucket on the inside. It's a big field goal. It's back to 8 points at the end of the quarter.
I'll tell you, you got to like his Healy.
Yeah, you really do.
He's an outstanding guard.
All right, that's it after 1. 24-16. St. Francis of Wheaton over Mendota. And now this from one of your network sponsors. All right, here's the end of the first quarter. This is the Healy penetration, I think, Ed.
He took the ball all the way. Come in, he saw the man open, went up in the air. Defensive player could have possibly taken a charge right there if he'd have held his ground, but he didn't.
England was just there and dumped it in off the Healy assist. There's the field goal story first quarter. 61% for St. Francis, 11 of 18. Mendota 46%, 6 of 13. Spartans are red hot from the field. Here's England out front. It's Jason Gilroy posting up inside as Healy drives left side off to Jamie Green. He walked with it on the baseline. Okay, there's your rebound story, dead even. 6 apiece. Hansen up. Hansen in the corner. To Bone. They backdoor it, and Bone got it.
Beautiful pass by Hansen.
First bucket for Bone. It's a 24-18 score, 6-point lead now to Wheaton St. Francis as Jamie Green comes across. Green on the left-handed dribble. Moving to it, number 11 out there is Mark Bond. Here is England. England being covered by Tony McLaughlin for Mendota out of the Trojan man-to-man. Here's Healy. Checked off by Jeff Bond. They work low to Driscoll off the glass.
Driscoll made a nice move.
Good power move by John Driscoll. Again. Here's a steal and a traveling violation. Ball's going to go back to Mendota. Right now, the Trojans are being out-quicked by this St. Francis ball club. Here's the team that has really struggled. They've had 3-22 seasons, 5-20 seasons, 11-14 a year ago. But this year, the banner campaign, 26-3. Shinholz back in the game for Mendota. Shinholz in the corner, circles out, free throw line extended. Works to Bond. Bond from Bond. It's marked to Jeff. Jeff took the shot, missed it. Jeff Bond gets it back to Mark Bond. Here's Hansen at three-point range. Rebound. Gilroy pulls it down. Jason Gilroy to Healy. Left side, Jamie Green. Jamie Green to the basket. Dishes to Driscoll inside. Misses it. Rebound Hansen, number 23 for Mendota. Off now to number 11, Mark Bond. Mark brings it down. Penetrates down the lane. Goes to the basket. Shot is not controlled off the glass. Rebound hauled down by Driscoll once again. John Driscoll, 6'2", 175, a 17-year-old senior for Wheaton St. Francis. They have an 8-point lead at 26-18. Game second quarter just underway. Second period, Scott England holding high to Healy. Healy to Jamie Green.
They're about to break it open here.
They work low to Driscoll. Rolls it up and in.
Two good moves he's made.
Power move by John Driscoll, and it's a 10-point ball game. This is the biggest margin. Wheaton St. Francis by 10. Shinholz. Mendota counters quickly, a bucket they had to have. They're back within 8.
If you notice, Shinholz really gets up and down the floor real quick, and he always goes into the low post on the ball side.
Well, the defensive pressure on Hansen has gotten to be very, very intense. So it looks like Mendota's going to have to work inside against this ball club. Good defensive job by St. Francis. And there's a pop by Scott England. Nothing but the bottom of the net, 30-20 with 5:30. England has gone 3 for 3. 5:30 left to go in the first half of play. Bone for Mendota to the hoop.
Nice move.
And should have had it down. Wouldn't stick for him. Controlled by St. Francis. Driscoll has come off the bench and really given the Spartans a fine performance as Mike Healy comes across now. 5'7", a 140-pounder. In low to Driscoll. Power move. Let's see what they're going to call. Offensive foul. Offensive foul on John Driscoll, his second. Mendota doing a pretty good job defensively on that baseline. The problem is that St. Francis is getting just too close. They're shooting 3 and 4 footers.
Man come over from the weak side and did a good job there defensively.
Still remains of 30-20. Back in the ball game for Wheaton St. Francis. Tim Hughes comes in. Driscoll's going to leave, and in the ball game is DJ Paoni. Paoni has come on.
Driscoll did a good job coming off the bench, didn't he?
He sure did. Really gave him a little bit of a lift. Things were airtight, and then Driscoll came in and caught fire a little bit. Steve Hansen for Mendota. Little fadeaway. Ball hits on the bracketing behind the basket, but was knocked over there by one of the defenders, I believe by Scott England.
Partially blocked.
I think Hansen needs more shots for Mendota to be effective. And when we get a moment, I'd like the coach to explain why Hansen's got tape on the back of his shoes.
All right. Here's Barrera. Barrera out to Brian Schmidt. Back to Hansen. Hansen goes to the basket. Won't go. Bone with the board and contested and knocked out of bounds on the inside by England, I think. Scott England's been very, very active in there for Wheaton St. Francis of late. Backdoor feed to Shinholz. Easy bucket on the out-of-bounds play.
Hansen's got a good pair of eyes, too, doesn't he?
Yep. He's a complete player. 30-22. Breaking the pressure. Wheaton St. Francis roaring it down as Tim Hughes. Look at them ball handle out front. Hughes has got the ball handed to him by England. Game could get a little on the physical side as we go along. Paoni. St. Francis turns it over. Shinholz picks up the loose basketball. Here's Gary Barrera.
Hey, both coaches are using their bench. Not afraid to go to them. Shows a good balance they both have.
Barrera to Shinholz. Shinholz with a magnificent three-point shooter as a sophomore. He hasn't launched one here yet tonight. Here is Schmidt. Mendota's really got three three-point shooters on the floor right now. But, of course, they're facing a pretty good man-to-man defense.
Yes, they are.
Shinholz to Hansen, posting up on the inside.
Good move.
Got it.
Good move.
Hansen with 10. He's averaging 23, but he's been around the 30-point mark in tournament play. Mendota's closed back within 6 at 30-24. St. Francis brings it up. Here is Tim Hughes. Right side, Jamie Green. Green covered by Brian Schmidt. Slides to the base. Whistle. Foul on Brian Schmidt.
Well, you asked a while ago what that was on the back of Henson's shoe. You know, Henson and Shinholz are cousins. And at the regional tournament, I think the championship game, their grandmother died, I think, that day, or right close to them. And ever since then, he's kept that on his shoe, and it says, for grandmother. There's a good drive right here. Foul before he went in there. So I think that he's had that on the back of his shoe ever since there. I think it says for grandma or for grandmother. It's quite a tribute to the young gentleman.
Free throw by Jamie Green. Rolls away, as you see. Mendota has it. Here's Hansen. Schmidt. Schmidt is clobbered. Pretty good collision between Schmidt and Mike Healy. Healy comes up with foul number 2 on that collision course. And as Ed pointed out, both teams are very, very deep. That's Healy. We're going to see another good collision. Been more contact here than some football games I've covered. Two little guys. Schmidt and Healy go at it pretty good.
Healy's really good. He's a jump starter for this Spartan team. He's very effective.
Looks like he might be the glue to their ball club.
Brian Schmidt at the line for Mendota. I've seen this guy go on tears, Frank. This little Schmidt with the three-pointer. He has not had the kind of shooting year that they were hoping he would have, but all right.
He had 5 big assists in the super sectional game, I noticed.
Ball is batted out front, and Mendota comes out of that one in good shape. They got it back. St. Francis has done a good defensive job against this run-and-gun ball club, though. They've really contested everything. Nice. Shinholz inside. And the rebound, as the ball actually came out a little short, it's Mike Healy again. Here's Healy to England. England's played well second quarter.
Beautiful drive. I think Gilroy got a block on that last play down there.
That's England's, yeah, probably did. That's England's 4th bucket. Nice drive-in layup. It's 32-25. 7-point lead, Wheaton St. Francis. Second quarter. Quarterfinal round, the Assembly Hall. The feed to Hansen. Heavy traffic. Hansen has a block by Gilroy.
Oh, beautiful
Great save by Healy off to England.
Healy's everywhere, isn't he? Look at that. It passed up the floor, too.
Gilroy walked with it. Healy is really controlling the tempo totally for St. Francis. And when he wants to run, they're going to run regardless. And we got a timeout on the floor. 32-25. St. Francis of Wheaton by 7 over Mendota. 2:44 to go in the half. And let's take time out for one of your network sponsors, Country Companies Insurance. Now there you see the score in a good old-fashioned Class A Northern Illinois basketball knock-em-down ball game out here this evening. There's a little of the inside action.
Well, look, he gets back up here now. Jumps up and then saves it.
Yeah, Healy, as you point out, is everywhere. There's your field goal shooting. St. Francis still white hot, 65%.
Who saved the ball again?
Yeah, Healy. Flat in his face this time. Off to Jamie Green to England. The Green, right corner as we view it, left corner as you see it.
Yeah, all right, Mendota's playing some pretty good defense. Ball got away from him there, though.
Mendota, traditionally, the kind of basketball they play, they turn it over time and time and time again. And, of course, it's based on getting the ball up there and hitting your share of shots. And on the inbounds, they're going to call the foul on Gilroy. Backing over Mendota's number 30, Dan Bone. That's foul number 2 on Jason Gilroy. Here we go. Let's watch Healy again here, Ed. Tell us about this one.
Good tip there by England, I think it was. Didn't quite see it there, but we saw the final result of him on the floor.
So Healy on the floor, patting it back in.
I tell you, I think the custodians can take the between games off. He's going to clean up the floor, not that in, and they with his uniform.
This kid's going to leave it in good shape. Dan Bowen made the free throw to take the bonus.
Yeah, maybe he'll get a little overtime pay for that.
32-26, 6-point lead to Wheaton St. Francis. They led at the quarter, 24-16. And I hesitate to say have been in control. They've been in the lead. This is the kind of ball game where control will be established much later, I'm certain, by one or the other. Shitholz, number 22, back in for Mendota. Shitholz is 6'4", 185, just a 16-year-old. He's a junior at the line. Bowen, one more throw to Dan. Rebound. Yanked out of there by Dan Leonard. Leonard has not scored as yet in the ball game, and he is averaging 17.4, the scoring leader for St. Francis. Leonard, as they clear to Jamie Green. Everybody else is scoring for St. Francis, taking the heat off Mr. Leonard. 34-26, yeah, 8-point margin.
That's what it takes when you get down there, though, Art. Somebody's got to take the pressure off.
Yeah, and Mendota's a little reluctant to take the three-pointer. Here's Hansen. Rebound, Driscoll. So again, the St. Francis with a chance to extend this to 10 points.
Yeah, I like his Driscoll. He can start for a lot of ball clubs.
Very, very valuable. He's used very effectively. Here's Jamie Green. Green's shot scrapes it. England rebounds it. 10 points for Scott England, and now it's a 10-point lead again. Second time that St. Francis had a 10-point cushion in this one. Schmidt's lob for Hansen overthrew everything, and with 1:21 to go, there you can see Brian Schmidt unhappy with the pass. Wasn't totally Schmidt's fault, though. Hansen didn't move forward either, so with a 10-point lead, St. Francis of Wheaton with a chance to go up 12 as Mike Healy.
I think England's done a great job, too, so far this first half. Good screens over there on the weak side.
Here's Leonard. Leonard's long bomb, no good, and Shitholz boards it to Gary Barrera. Barrera's bounce pass for Bowen. Ball deflected out. Let's see who's going to have possession. It goes back to St. Francis.
Real hustle there.
Yeah, they have the fingertips of Bowen. Here we go again.
Deflects it. Now look at him go after it.
Yeah, Bowen did knock it out of bounds as St. Francis player went sliding into the radio section across the way.
You know, the way both teams are going up and down the floor, you can see why they have to use their bench the way they do.
Oh, yeah. Healy to Jamie Green. Boy, he's got an easy shot at 13.
They're not very reluctant to put it up, are they? They put it up right now. They don't hesitate.
They're getting great percentage shots. They're up 12, and here's the offensive foul on Jeff Bond of Mendota, his second.
I hate to say it, but he's on the floor again. One way or the other. He keeps...
St. Francis of Wheaton with a very, very impressive second quarter in particular.
I'll tell you what, Haley's picked up a lot of supporters this evening, hasn't he?
They may go for one shot here, too, with him.
They're up 12.
Four corners.
Looks like it.
They like to take a 14-point lead into the intermission. England to Green.
Dean Smith's whole four corners deal.
That's Leonard, number 12. There is England, number 34. Out front to Jamie Green. Jamie just hands the ball to Mike Healy here.
Double screen low.
Right side, Jamie Green. Shot blocked nicely by McLaughlin. And again, batted out of bounds by Mendota. Again, it goes back to St. Francis with 4 seconds left to go in the first half. Trojans blocking a lot of shots, but they can't come up with the basketball. There you see Hansen, number 23, very intently digging on defense for Mendota. He has played every second of this first half. Into Green with 3 seconds. Green launches a three-point bomb. It's short, and that's it at halftime. But it's a 12-point game at the intermission. Wheaton St. Francis with a very, very solid first half performance as they have gone up by 12 at halftime, leading here at 38-26 with a blistering second quarter effort. They had a 14-point second quarter, outscoring Mendota 14-10 in Chapter 2. So really the margin wasn't that big, except the first period lead was 8 points for St. Francis. So Spartans have things rolling well. We have a half of basketball to play. And now a message from one of your network sponsors, the dairy farmer of Wisconsin and Illinois. Well, at halftime, it's a good solid 12-point lead, Ed, for Wheaton St. Francis. We're seeing a run-and-shoot ball game. We're seeing St. Francis shoot at a sizzling pace. They were 65% the last time we checked, so obviously this ball club is red hot, but they're getting a tremendous number of good shots.
Well, the scoring has slowed down, but not the tempo.
No, it really hasn't. They're shooting 4 or 5 footers, and of course they're going to bury you on that basis. And Mendota's turning the thing over too much, no question about that. What's Mike Kilmartin going to tell his troops at halftime?
Well, I think he's going to tell them he's going to tell them to keep on going the way they have and try to do the best job they can in the second half.
It's a game that's really a game of tempo, isn't it? Whoever waxes warm gets hot and stays hot.
You know, I think they gotta pick up their defense, and they gotta make some buckets of what they've got to do and stop the other team.
Yeah, they missed a lot of shots inside. A good defensive job on Hansen in the second quarter in particular.
Yes, excellent job.
All right, we have another guest for you at halftime. We have Jim Albrecht at courtside with that interview for you. Jim?
Thank you very much, Art. I have an interesting story standing by me. The coach is Don Davidson of Aurora Christian. They finished the year at 27-3. The interesting story is that, Coach, your first year as a member of the IHSA, and you make the Sweet 16.
That's correct, Jim. It was a great thrill for us. We've been coming to the state tournament for several years. When my 2 sons and I were sitting in the bleachers last year, we kind of decided, let's go for it. So that was one of our goals, is try and get here. We came up 1 step short.
Speaking of your 2 sons, they're a heavy part of your arsenal. Combined, they average 36 points a game for you. And, of course, you've got some good news this morning because you now have a son who's on the All-State team.
Yeah, that was a great thrill for us. They called me, the Sun-Times called earlier in the week, said, send us a picture of your son, Mark. He's going to be on the All-State team. And I said, well, that's a great thrill. So,
how do you stop a team like St. Francis? I know you had a real difficult time with them in the Super Section. A team with so many weapons, you're almost taking your chance every time out there.
Yeah, we played them man-to-man. I thought we played them hard and well, but they still shot over 60% from the field, made 7 out of 8 from three-point land, and Leonard made 10 out of 10 from the field, 9 out of 10 from the free throw line. So we held the other guys in check fairly well, but he just killed us.
Coach, your impression of the Class A tournament? A few years back, of course, there was just one tournament. Now they've divided it up into the Class 2A and the A. There's a lot of folks here tonight. It seems like the A school is a small community. If you make it, you're backed.
Yes, we really feel that way. I know when we played in the Super Sectional at Lewis University, it was just standing room only around the whole gym. It was unbelievable.
Is there any feeling? I know you're the coach, and you got to keep your head in the game, and you got to call the defenses and the offenses. But I'm telling you, I went to a Super Sectional game up in Moline, and the goosebumps were incredible. And I thought I was an old man, but it still hits you.
Yeah, it really does. It's just an exciting, just really inspirational feeling to the kids to go before a big crowd and be able to perform.
Okay, you're a member of the IHSA now. I want to ask you one question. There may be a change next year as far as getting off the bench. A lot of coaches, well, I'll be honest, every coach I talk to wants to get off the bench a little bit. You'd like to do that as well?
It doesn't make a lot of difference. You know, I can stay on the bench easy enough. So I've been coaching 22 years, so it's easier for me maybe to sit down.
Anybody you've seen here so far today that you really think is unbeatable? To my estimation, it's still kind of a toss-up. There's nobody here that's standing head above anybody else's head.
I would agree with you. It seems like the teams that all of them play good defense, I've noticed, especially the 2 teams out here now in this 3rd game tonight, the first game of the opening session this evening. I think the team that can stay hot, especially this game, is a team that's going to come out ahead.
Well, Coach, I know that when you get close to something in life, you dedicate yourself to getting closer. So I know you'll be working to get down here to the Elite 8.
We sure will. We've got 5 of our top 9 players back for next year, and we're going to be strong. So we're still going to shoot for it.
Well, he has a strong team this year. Don Davidson of Aurora Christian. They finished at 27-3 before St. Francis took them out. Coach, thanks for joining me. We're going to be back with the second half after we pause for these messages.
At halftime, 38-26 ball game. St. Francis of Wheaton on the lead over the Mendota Trojans. And a matchup of 2 very, very fine Northern Illinois Class A basketball teams. Art Kimball with you, along with Ed Butkovich, Frank Pisoni, and Jim Albrecht. We're seeing our shootout right here, Ed. I think probably if fans like to see the run-and-gun ball game, there's some of that Mendota crowd in behind us.
A good crowd here tonight. I think right now the difference has probably been Haley. Healy, I really like him, and I think he's done a good job at directing traffic out there. And, you know, he got a little rest every while, but...
Well, there's the figures we've been waiting for. And St. Francis, you see, shooting 60% in the first half on 18 of 30. Mendota shooting 385, 10 of 26. So there's a tremendous difference there. And both teams are shooting high percentage shots. Free throws, Mendota's been at the line more and made 6 of 8. Only 1 of 4 for St. Francis. Look at the rebound count. St. Francis, 15 to 10 edge on the boards. Turnovers, pretty close. Both teams have thrown it around a little bit.
The 8 field goal difference, I think, is a big factor right now, and then plus the fact that Mendota's not hitting very well. And
yeah, there's your individual scoring total for the Spartans. Scott England has poured in 10 points in the first half. The big guy in the middle, Jason Gilroy at 6'6", has 9. Jamie Green with 8, Healy with 5. What a game he's played. That shows you how misleading scoring can be. He's been the trigger man, as Ed points out. Driscoll off the bench with 4. For Mendota, Steve Hansen with 10 points, and he is far and away the scoring leader. Shitholtz with a 6-point tabulation. And then you've got Jeff Bond with 4 and Dan Bone with 3. Not a lot of balance.
well, they got to get the lid off the bucket early here to get back in the ball game, and I'm afraid if they don't, it might be a long night for them. But I think they could possibly do it if they get
Okay, we'll see. Let's take time out for this from one of your network sponsors, John Deere. Set to go with the second half of probably the most up-tempo game of the day between two ball clubs that obviously have a very similar philosophy, at least offensively. They played straight up man-to-man. I don't think either team could probably get back on defense fast enough to set up a zone anyway, Ed. The way this thing is
probably not. I think probably the first 3 to 4 minutes there, this third quarter is going to be a key for Mendota if they can get back in this ballgame.
Yeah, Mendota's in trouble. They're down 12. They need to start hitting that hoop, opposing the club shooting 60%. That's number 11, Mark Bond, to number 25, Jeff Bond. Number 30, Dan Bone holding. Here is Kyle Chinholtz, number 22, out front, 6'4". Hansen rolls inside. He's number 23 with England on him. Ball is knocked away and stolen. And actually, Jamie Green was the guy who made the defensive play.
Good defense on the weak side to come over and help.
Healy to Leonard, to Gilroy. Gilroy turns after losing it, pops it, rebound Bone. The interesting situation, Dan Leonard has scored no points at all, and he's a scoring leader for Wheaton St. Francis, so you know you're not going to shut him out. Here's Chinholtz, kind of forced the shot, got it back to the hoop, blocked on the inside by Gilroy.
Blocked by Gilroy.
And bringing the ball across St. Francis, Healy again. Mike Healy. Left wing to Jamie Green. Low to Gilroy. Gilroy banks it. And got it. Gilroy now with a total of 12 points.
Beautiful feed by Jamie Green.
This is the lead, and Bone comes right back for Mendota and scores on the inside off a Mark Bond assist to make it 40-28. But St. Francis clinging to the 12-point margin. Mike Healy. Covered by number 25, Jeff Bond. Now there's Leonard, number 12, works to Gilroy, low to England, and a foul on Jeff Bond. This might be a shooting violation. Foul number 3 on Jeff Bond. One thing, credit to Mr. Leonard out there for Wheaton St. Francis, Dan Leonard. He's not scoring, but he's passing off, working the screens, working the boards, playing the team game, and his teammates are more than taking up the slack for him.
Does a good job.
Scott England at the line. He's got a lot of free throws taken in this ball game. Well, as you can see, England used a good half of the rim anyway, but got it to drop. 41-28, second one.
Good touch, nice form, good follow through.
42-28 as Jeff Bond drives it up for Mendota. They're going to call him for the offensive foul. That's foul number 4 on Jeff Bond.
I know at least 2 charges he's taking tonight.
Yep. All right, Brian Schmidt is coming in. Ted Knapp is waving him into the ball game as Bond sits down, riding with 4 fouls. And he picked up 2 in rapid-fire order here in the third quarter. 42-28. 14-point lead to Wheaton St. Francis. They've gotten out in front of this one and have shown no signs of cracking at all. Mendota has not been able to make a run out the
lob again. Didn't work at that.
Yeah, there it is. To Gilroy. His ball at the backboard. Jamie Green scoops it up. To Gilroy, number 52. Gilroy got it out. So Gilroy now with 11 points. And Mendota wants the timeout with 6:16 remaining to play in the third quarter and down 16 at 44-28. We'll be right back after this from one of your network sponsors, DeKalb Pfizer Genetics. All right, 16-point lead being enjoyed by Wheaton St. Francis. Mendota called the timeout right in front of our broadcasting position. You can see Hansen, number 23, makes the play into Brian Schmidt. Healy, number 4, is out on Schmidt. That's Bone, number 30. At the free throw line area.
They had a man open, they missed him.
Yeah, to Schmidt.
I think pretty soon they're going to have to start putting up a three-pointer if they can. Here comes one now.
Brian Schmidt launches the three-pointer. Rebound is hauled down by Leonard. Down the floor to Jamie Green to the basket. Can't get it, but Schmidt committed the personal foul. Foul number 3 on Brian Schmidt. Well, when you play in a ball game like this and suddenly the opposition is shooting around 60% and you're struggling with a 38% shooting mark, you're in a lot of trouble because both ball clubs are working so very, very hard defensively. But even with a hand in the face of the Wheaton St. Francis players, there have been definitely shooters here tonight. Mendota has not had the same kind of luck. Free throw is good by Jamie Green.
Well, they got to keep their heads up. If they don't, it's going to be over pretty quick.
Yeah, teams from that section of the state have not had the greatest luck in the Assembly Hall. Ohio, of course, is runner-up here. What, 3 years back maybe with that crew? Had the best finish. Ottawa Marquette lost here in the first round a couple of years ago, quarterfinal round. Second throw. Ottawa Township High School from up in what they call the Illinois Valley area dropped a quarterfinal game a few years back. Basically the North Central Conference area and the smaller schools surrounding that league. Brian Schmidt, number 15, for Mendota to Hansen. Hansen has to shoot more, I'll tell you that. There's no question about that. He's your scoring leader. The ball is stripped away. Hansen gets it back. Dishes to Mark Bond to Bone. Bone can't get it home, but Hansen does. On the follow, Steve Hansen now has a total of 12 points. He averages 23, and it's 45-30. Quickly, Leonard at the other end. Shot was blocked by number 30, Bone. Back out front now to England, to Healy. Here's Leonard from the corner. That shot was partially deflected, and the air ball is hauled down by number 22, Kyle Schenholz, as the Mendota fans behind us start to get a little bit excited, a little more into the ball game. And here's a blocking foul on Scott England. That's his first foul, and Mr. Driscoll's coming back in.
Had a good first half. Did a good job when he came in there.
Number 44, and let's see who's going to replace. Going to give Scott England a little breather. The ball clubs out of this West Suburban Catholic Conference have been pretty good basketball teams in recent years, and certainly Wheaton St. Francis in that same category. Here's Schenholz for Mendota. He goes cross-court, skip pass over the defense, and it's a pretty good trick against that kind of defense. And Schmidt hits the three-pointer.
We were talking about that earlier.
Well, he's got that kind of shooting ability. 45-33. Bringing it down, Gilroy. Off to Jamie Green. He answers.
Healy set that up, though, gentlemen.
Yep. Here's Bone on the drive. No control. Lost it underneath. Wheaton St. Francis sweeps it out. Yeah, there's Leonard.
Oh, beautiful.
That's his first bucket.
Beautiful.
Left-hand underhand drive in by team scoring leader Dan Leonard. 49-33. Still a 16-point ball game. Schmidt eyes it. Looks at the baseline to Mark Bond. Here's Hansen. Hansen being covered by Leonard. Leonard has that defensive assignment as St. Francis has gone man-to-man throughout. Off to Bone. Bone puts it on the floor one time. Out to Hansen, and Steve straightens up. Got it.
Nice job. He just caught that ball high, left it up there, and touched it home.
The defensive man was right in his face, too.
Mendota takes its second time out in fairly rapid-fire order. It's a 14-point ball game. St. Francis on the lead, and let's pause for these messages. Was able to cut exactly 2 points off of that halftime lead, and that's in 3 minutes and 5 seconds of play in the third quarter. That's probably not fast enough, Ed.
Well, they're going to have to get back, and they're going to pick up the defense full court here.
Yeah, okay, there's your shooting figures. St. Francis has cooled all the way to 57%. They were 60 at halftime. Here's Healy. Healy being dogged by Mendota's Mark Bond. Healy, one of the stars of the ball game, to Jamie Green, to Gilroy. Gilroy just bowls in, powers in. Rebound to Schenholz. Schenholz done a good job on that defensive board for Mendota. Mark Bond pushes it up. Bond to Schmidt. Free for the three-pointer. The lefty got it.
That might be the spark they need.
49-38. Mendota back within 11. For Wheaton St. Francis, Healy. Healy roars. He scores. Nobody cut it off. That's been Mendota's problem. Is every time something good has happened for them, it has been answered quickly. And now Schmidt throws a perfect pass to Tony McLaughlin, but Tony can't quite find the handle. And it'll go right back to Wheaton St. Francis. There you see the scurrying around the Mendota bench.
No, he was wide open there. That's what happens when things aren't going good for you. You make a play like that, and it gets away from him. Just thinking it happened, just mushrooms.
Michael Martin pleading with his ball club. I don't know whether offensively or defensively. At any rate, Wheaton St. Francis very, very calmly is looking on over here is Michael Harper, the 60-year head coach at St. Francis. Jamie Green to Leonard. Left side, Healy. State Class A quarterfinals in the Assembly Hall in Champaign. Jamie Green, low to
Good
Driscoll.
speed.
Back to Green. Mendota's gone zone.
Come back again.
Here is Gilroy, free at 14 approximately. His shot, as you can see, just caroms off, but the ball comes back off the floor and controlled by St. Francis.
Driscoll tipped that ball out.
Leonard to Green, solo drive.
They're playing with an awful lot of confidence.
Oh, they are.
Really are, and Mendota not able to cut him off. Here's Shinholtz to Barrera, 53-38. Bone inside. Basket's going to count. He was fouled. Dan Bone nets it for Mendota. There you see Steve Hansen of the Trojans. And we'll see who picked up the foul. We're going to see it in the replay in just a second.
They're close to push off there.
Yeah, the foul's on Leonard. His
I
third.
got by with one there. Got an offense.
Bone will go to the free throw line where he is 1 out of 2 on the evening. 53-40, 13-point ball game, 2:24 left to play third quarter, but this is the kind of game where neither coach can relax. It's an explosive type of basketball game, and the big lead doesn't mean a great deal at this point.
Talk about relaxing. I saw one last week, 18-point lead, got away. Coach didn't relax in that one.
Rebound control by St. Francis on the miss by Bone. Here is Mr. Healy bringing the ball across. Mike Healy, 5'7", 140, 18-year-old senior veteran. Left side to Jamie Green. He's been a handful tonight, but he loses this time down the floor. Shinholtz. Outlet to Gary Barrera. Barrera, junior for the Trojans, brings the ball up. Circles out left side to Mark Bond. Looks inside for Bone. Throws it away. Intercepted. Driscoll with the steal.
Driscoll again.
Mike Kilmartin just puts his head in his hands over on the Mendota bench. Too many mistakes against the club of Wheaton St. Francis ability. England's back out there. Here's Gilroy. Gilroy twist inside. Banks that high off the glass. No good. The rebound at the baseline. Hustle by Green. Green gets it back to Gilroy to the hole. St. Francis leads it by 15. Barrera up for Mendota with 1:37. It's a game Trojan ball club, but they really have their hands full against the St. Francis team that may be a little underrated, fellas. Here's Shinholtz at the three-pointer, moves inside, fires, and she will not go at closer range. Back out to Barrera. He can't get it in, and the ball is batted out to Jamie Green for St. Francis. Both teams look a little tired at the present time. The game has been played at a tremendous tempo. Healy across, number 4 on the dribble drive. There's England, baseline. England has drilled it all in. 7 of 7, 14 points and a free throw for 15. 57-40, 17-point lead. This is the biggest margin St. Francis has had. Hansen.
Nice pass in there.
Hansen has been primarily using the baseline of the ball game, and he pulls Mendota back within 15, but we're down to the 37-second mark in the game's third quarter. Here's Driscoll. Driscoll out front to Healy, and the indication on the bench from Coach Mike Harper is to hold it for 1. His club up 57-42. He wants to retain as much of that lead as he possibly can. And that's a good cushion right now of 15 points. Jamie Green changing direction. Here is Green. Nice penetration. Rebound Bone. So Mendota has 9 seconds to get off a shot. Barrera brings it down. He's going to go the route. Shot is blocked by Gilroy. Gilroy brings it up with a second from the timeline. Well, he almost got a 3. Almost had a 3. So that's it.
That old two-handed shot looked like our day there.
It sure did. It sure. After a 3, it's a 15-point cushion for St. Francis of Wheaton. And now this from one of your network sponsors, Country Company. Now there's see some of the fans here at the Assembly Hall as we prepare to go to the fourth quarter of this one. The Michael Harper coached St. Francis of Wheaton Spartans, this having a banner year. They had their tough ones, but boy, they put it together here. Overall, in 6 years at Wheaton St. Francis, Harper is 61-94, but he plays like they play tonight a couple more seasons. He'll close in on that 500 mark in a hurry.
Tim Hughes in there now to give Driscoll a little breather.
Ball loose on the floor, and Brian Schmidt there for Mendota as well, number 15. It's Hughes, number 10 in the white for St. Francis. Here's Gilroy.
He did a good job the first half.
Back out to Hughes. Mendota really pressuring for the basketball. We're going to see that field goal shooting again. Now St. Francis up a notch, 58%. for the game. Gilroy, offensive foul. He bowled in. 7:36 left in this one.
Hughes looked like he's limping a little bit out there, though. The left ankle, he's got a brace of some sort.
Yeah. He moves pretty well, though, when he has to. Inside is Hansen. Hansen looks for the three-pointer. Not there, and Gilroy rebounds it. Gilroy, 6'6" center for Wheaton St. Francis. Had a good, solid ball game. Here's Hughes. Hughes comes down, knocked away by Barrera and out of bounds. And it's going to go back to Wheaton St. Francis. Mike Gilmartin has Schmidt and Gary Barrera at the backcourt position. Wants as much quickness out there as he can right now. And St. Francis pretty well countering with Hughes, who is fresh. And also out there with Hughes is Peone. So both coaches have gone a little more quickness in the backcourt, a little less fatigue at this point in the ball game. All right, here is Leonard. Leonard out front as Barrera switches off and picks him up. Bad pass. Bone picks it off, but Driscoll gets it right back for St. Francis. Right side, Hughes launches the three. That maybe hit the rim, as you saw. Became airborne over the top of the backboard. So Mendota with the basketball. Down 15. Long, long uphill drive for the Trojans from the North Central Conference. Here's Barrera. Barrera back to Brian Schmidt to Hansen. Hansen goes all the way and is fouled by England. England commits his third personal foul. Steve Hansen with 7 field goals for 14, a couple of free throws for a total of 16. This is going to be a common violation. The basketball belongs to Mendota under his own attacking hoop here in the Assembly Hall. Upcoming, Rock Island Alleman's Pioneers and Tuscola. Ball inbounded, knocked out of bounds defensively by Scott England from the Spartans. Earlier today, Prairie Central and Carlisle survived. Inbound pass to Dan Bone. Bone well out on the floor. He normally plays inside. He's looking. Gets the ball off to Hansen. Hansen whirls and fires it. No good. And the rebound pulled down by Leonard. Leonard hasn't scored much, but he's done an awful lot. Particularly on the board. Yeah, handles the ball. Now he's going to try the three-pointer. It won't go. He's not having a great shooting night.
He's talking to himself a little bit, too, I think.
Chinholz to Barrera. Here's Schmidt. He's had 2 three-pointers for Mendota this evening. To Hansen. Hansen trying to back in. Back to Schmidt. And Hughes knows he can shoot the three-pointer. You notice he moves right to it. Here's Chinholz. Chinholz very hesitant to take the shot. Off to Hansen. Hansen at the base.
Stop and pop.
Yep. 57-44. Mendota back within 13. Full court, trapping zone-type pressure. Looks like a 2-2-1, Ed.
I believe it was.
Here's Hughes to Driscoll. Left side. Driscoll in the paint. His bounce pass. Hansen had it momentarily. Now it's picked up by Leonard. Leonard goes back to the glass. He can't get it in. Bone on the outlet to Barrera. So suddenly St. Francis is cooled a bit. There's Schmidt. Schmidt eyes it at three-point range and got it. Brian Schmidt with his third three-pointer. And the Mendota fans come to life, and St. Francis wants a timeout. Suddenly got a 10-point ball game.
About a 24-footer, 25.
Yeah, around that NBA three-point bomb. Okay, 10-point game. We'll be back after this from one of your network sponsors, John Deere. We have seen the three-point shots today. Let's see, 3, 6, 9, 10. I'm counting them up here real quickly. Don't hold me to this, Ed.
We had 9 the first game.
10, 12, 13, 14, 15. We've had 19 three-point shots made in the 3 games today, hurriedly counting.
I'll tell you, Mendota make a couple stops down here. They may be back in this game.
There's the three-point buckets in this ball game. Mendota's 3 of 4, 1 of 6 for St. Francis. Jamie Green.
He's had a good ball game, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's solid, no doubt about it. 15 points for Jamie Green. Now Driscoll's going to come in. St. Francis has shown good depth, and they've got a lot of fine performance off the bench. For example, this guy, DJ Peone, checks out now. He's given him a good relief effort. Tim Hughes given him a good relief effort as well.
Driscoll's done a great job.
As Brian Schmidt's given Mendota a great relief effort. Ball taken away.
Jamie Green again.
Jamie Green stolen by Schmidt. Well, Schmidt makes Mendota interesting. He just threw it away. Schmidt with the steal. Fires it away at the timeline. So
just went through his hands.
Here we go the other way. Mendota bench assistant coach Mike Wasmer, who, by the way, is the city clerk in Mendota. There's your turnover situation. Mendota was 16. That's hurt them. Right side, Jamie Green. Into Gilroy, and Bones all over him. Foul number 2 on Dan Bone. Gentlemen, Mike Wasmer is an interesting story up at Mendota. As I say, he's the city clerk and graduate of the University of Illinois. Former fine athlete at Gilman. But he assists in football, assists in basketball. Been a handy guy to have around. England, left side, Jamie Green. They flash it low. Shot by Driscoll, won't go, and Bone with a rebound.
Should have scored up.
Yep, Mark Bond for Mendota. I don't think Bond's taking a shot as yet. Schinholz.
No, Schinholz looks like he's going to grow some, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's been
like he's going to get about 6, 7.
A little tentative shooting-wise tonight, and he's a pretty good shooter. Here's Hansen. Hansen goes to the glass, tries to underhand, and knocked out of bounds defensively by Wheaton St. Francis. Gary Barrera comes on. There's Mike Kilmartin. Got rid of the sport code now. I like those purple suspenders. Huh?
Beautiful, aren't they?
He's almost as stylish as you are, Ed. Here's Brian Schmidt to make the play in. Schmidt gets it back. Hansen trying to post up with England behind him. Off to Barrera. 4:13 left. It's a 12-point lead to Wheaton St. Francis. Schmidt comes into Bone, and the ball is knocked away. Bone dives for it. Loose on the floor, and we have a jump ball. These are probably 2 of the most competitive ball clubs you're going to see at any level. They may not have all the finesse in the world from time to time, but boy, will they battle you. Floor-burn city out here, and as Ed pointed out earlier, they may not have to sweep this floor between games. I have a hunch Alleman and Tuscola will play the same kind of ball game. Maybe not quite as freewheeling, but every bit as rugged. Schmidt, 3 for 3. Bullseye. Yep, only a 2-pointer.
I think his foot was on the line.
Yep, just barely inside. It's a 10-point ball game. 59-49. 10-point lead to Wheaton St. Francis. Mendota pressing desperately. Gilroy to Green. Right side, England. They move the ball well against this pressure. England out front to Jamie Green. Gary Barrera on him. Green moves around him. Dishes back to England. England at 17 feet. Out front to Healy. 3:39 to go in the ball game. 10-point lead to St. Francis of Wheaton.
Look at the movement away from the ball.
They're a good passing team as well. Low, Driscoll against the double team. Out front, Healy. Gilroy, reach-in Barrera. Gary Barrera called for the reach-in foul for the Trojans. He's 5'8", 140, 16-year-old junior. Mendota's 14-1 against Class A teams they played this year, not in their league.
I'll tell you, Jamie Green made a nice hesitation dribble with that left hand just a little while ago on that left side.
Jamie Green's done a lot of good things out there tonight for Wheaton St. Francis. Gilroy at the stripe. Ball club leads it by 10. Deep breath. Gilroy's free throw. See what Gilroy has point-wise tonight. 8, 10, 12, 14.
He had 16 rebounds in the super sectional game.
Yeah, he's the dominant force. No question about that.
Got quite a few block shots tonight, too.
Yep. 11-point lead.
Beautiful follow through.
Gilroy nets it. Makes it a 12-point lead with 3:25 to go. And Mendota's opportunities running thinner and thinner, fewer and fewer. They call a timeout. Have one left. 61-49 score, as you see. Wheaton St. Francis leading. Now this from one of your network sponsors, the dairy farmers of Wisconsin and Illinois. Looking around at this crowd, I don't think there's a lot of folks left in Mendota or Tuscola right now. You look behind us there, those seats are filled right up to the roof of the Assembly Hall. And there's not a bad group here from Wheaton either. That's a pretty good turnout from Wheaton. All right, the ball is inbounded, and St. Francis has it. 61-49 lead. 3:16 to go. Driscoll to Healy. There's 62% in the first half for St. Francis, 38% in the second half. Mendota's improved to 48, as you see, from 40% in the first half. Well, let's see who this one's going to be called on. Ted Knapp, the official, comes over here. Foul has been whistled, I believe, on Schmidt. Yeah, that's 4 fouls on Brian Schmidt. He has been instant offense for the Trojans because he had 3 3-pointers. 12 points for Schmidt, who on the season has struggled offensively a bit this year. Free throw by Gilroy. And Mendota has the basketball. And here's a double dribble on Jeff Bond. He's playing with 4 fouls. I keep mentioning that Schmidt's been in a slump. He's usually a very heavy scorer, but his point average is only 4.5 this campaign, but he's certainly been exciting here tonight. And Shinholz leaves for Tony McLaughlin. Mark Bond comes in for Mendota. And let's see who's going to check out. Brian Schmidt leaves with 3:03 to go in the basketball game, 61-49. There's your turnover count. Mendota's had 17. That's far too many in a ball game of this sort. 17 times down the floor without getting a shot, and against the team shooting as well as St. Francis, that has been devastating. Jamie Green. Green works for the Spartans to Healy. Healy challenged by Bond. Left side to Gilroy. Back to Healy. Healy off to Driscoll. Driscoll bump and foul by Bone. It's 3 on Bone. So following this one, we'll be down to a field of 5 with one more quarterfinal matchup to go. Checking back in, Schmidt and Shinholz for Mendota. Back out, McLaughlin and Mark Bond. Didn't think they'd have Brian Schmidt out of there too long because of his long-range scoring efforts. Steve Hansen has played every minute for Mendota, and Steve looks dog-tired right now. At the line is Driscoll. Good solid reserve for Wheaton St. Francis, and he drops through the free throw.
He didn't have much backspin on the ball, but it got in there, didn't it?
It was like a knuckleball.
Yeah, it did. Quite well, Alan.
But it was right in the middle of the hoop. 62-49. Second throw. Back iron. Rebound Bone. These two teams are entertaining, though, aren't they, Ed?
Yes, they are.
They really are. They put on a heck of a show here this evening. Shinholz.
I'm impressed with St. Francis defense, though.
I am too. There's Jeff Bond at long range. 3-pointer for Mendota will not go. Spartans have the basketball. Jamie Green to Healy. Here they come. Down to Gilroy. Gilroy, nice feed. Just go for 2. They got that into a 3-on-1 break. Nothing that Brian Schmidt could do. 64-49 with 2:18 to go. Here's Schmidt. Over to Bone, knocked out of bounds. Going to go back to the purple and gold from Mendota. North Central Conference representatives.
You know, you look up at the board, they've only given up 49 points, and the game has went like this.
Yep.
Pretty good.
Their defense is really, it's an underrated. Let's see what they're averaging on the year. 56. Yeah, that's pretty good.
You know, Mendota's not had the best night shooting, though, but going to give St. Francis credit, I think.
Yeah, the defense.
A lot of that.
Defense has something to do with that, too. Shinholz for the basket. His shot is blocked. Picked up by Jeff Bond. Out to Hansen. Hansen leans, shoots, missed it, but was fouled as he forced Jamie Green to lean into him and commit the personal. Well, Steve Hansen has been as advertised, I think. 18 points for Hansen. He's done a lot of posting up, down low, and of course hasn't been much of the perimeter threat since the first quarter. There's the replay.
A little pump fake, and then he moved into him. He helped the situation there.
Hansen has been the apple of a few recruiters' eyes, particularly Division III ball clubs. He'll be shooting a pair. 2 years ago, Mendota had a very strong ball club, 21-9, and they lost to St. Edwards of Elgin in the DeKalb Super Sectional from the same conference. Mike Kilmartin's going to be sick and tired of seeing clubs from the West Suburban Catholic League.
As you said, I think Hansen's going to make someone a fine college ball player.
Smart player, good heady performer, 64-51.
He's going to get stronger, too.
Yeah. And he's obviously had to shoulder much of the burden here. It's a tough assignment on a young man, even an experienced kid. And here's a guy that can shoulder the burden and do it very well. With the basketball, Mr. Healy. Mike Healy. Healy dishes the pass inside. Nobody there to throw it to. Healy went down on the floor, and now Schmidt's coming in. Jeff Bond's coming in for Mendota, and also Shinholz back in as right now on the fly. Mike Kilmartin doing a lot of substituting. Mendota playing this one right to the wire. They're down 13, but this is the kind of club that can score in a hurry. Their big problem has been stopping St. Francis.
I think on the last play, if Healy would have made a little bounce pass in there, I think he would have got the ball inside of the big guy.
Blocking foul is called here on Healy. Foul number 3 on Mike Healy as he and Brian Schmidt on a collision course. There you see the two young men. I don't know.
Healy's down there again, I think.
Schmidt had a pretty good forearm, though.
I think if he was going into second base, he would have been safer.
Yeah, he sure would have been. Here's Brian Schmidt at the line. We're going to have a timeout taken by St. Francis. We'll Keep it right here in the Assembly Hall. 1:47 left to go at 64-51.
Healy's got quite a floor burn on that knee, too. Take a look at it.
Yeah, he's spent a lot of time on the floor. We have one more game for you tonight, of course. Rock Island, Alleman, and Tuscola upcoming. Then tomorrow, the semifinal round, 11 o'clock, our broadcast time tomorrow morning. It's that early morning eye-opener here in the Assembly Hall, courtesy of the Illinois High School Association. They get them going good and early in the morning. And what a game it should be. Prairie Central against Carlisle. And then the nightcap, actually the second game of the afternoon doubleheader, will tip off at about 12:45. Looks like Wheaton St. Francis will be in that one against either Alleman or Tuscola. So a lot of basketball. Then, of course, tomorrow night, third place in the title game.
I'll tell you, Wheaton's going to sleep well tonight.
Yeah, I think so. Both clubs will be
dog tired.
This has been a very, very fatiguing ball game. And there you see some fans. Let's see. I think those are the St. Francis fans, aren't they? Back in that area. As we pan this very, very good crowd on a Friday night at the Assembly Hall. I would think this is probably one of the best days attendance totally in the last several years. Big crowds.
It's been pretty good so far.
Haven't seen the figures, but I'm guessing that we were estimating close to 13,000 this afternoon.
I think somebody told me over 12.
Over 12, well. Can't come out within 1,000. That's not bad, is it?
I hope it happens again tomorrow.
Brian Schmidt at the line for Mendota. Eyes it. It's a good look at Brian. He loves to play this game. You know, Brian Schmidt is the kind of kid that sort of epitomizes basketball. I think you look at Brian and say, here's a guy who has been firing away at that outdoor hoop since he was a real little shaver, you know, and it's got to be a big thrill for him. Of course, it's a bigger thrill if you can win it, but getting down here and things of that sort make it well worth all the effort. Leaving is Brian Schmidt, and Mark Bond comes in for defensive purposes. This is an 11-point ball game now, 64-53. St. Francis up by 11, but it's not over, and they know it. Barrera reaches in from behind and commits the personal foul. On Barrera, it's foul number 2, and Brian Schmidt right back to check in. Mendota kids are going to get tired just running up the scorer's table, Ed.
Well, I think he's got his platoon type of system in there. He puts the defensive players in, then he comes back with some offensive players. These kids will get ready to come back here again in just a minute.
Well, this is the theory. Now, knowing the Mendota personnel as I do, probably Mark Bond is they figures their defensive stopper, number 11. He's out of there now. They got the offensive crew in there at the moment. But Mr. Healy's at the line, and he misses it. Schenholz with the board. 1:42 to go. 64-53. Here's Steve Hansen now for Mendota to Schmidt. Brian from three-point territory. Got it. Brian Schmidt lights it up. Three-pointer. 64-56. And suddenly, a timeout is taken. Mendota took it. That's their last one. It ain't over till it's over, right? 8-point ball. 8-point ball game as Mike Gilmartin is pulling out all the stops. And so is his coaching opponent, Michael Harper, here tonight. And best way to describe this ball game is just plain entertaining. You know what? It really is.
It's been a great ball game. I enjoy watching a game like it. It's not like a tennis match.
From a coaching standpoint, though, it's got to be a white knuckler, a nerve-wrenching affair, doesn't it?
It always is.
Regardless of the tempo, huh?
Regardless of the tempo.
Well, I'll tell you, these two ball clubs put on a great show. 64-56. That's what high school athletics are all about. And I haven't seen anybody get too far away from their seats out here. It's been that kind of a ball game. There you see the Wheaton St. Francis cheerleaders performing here. They're the gals from Mendota. We have 1 minute and 35 seconds left in this one. It's an 8-point ball game. You know, it's interesting to me, too. I think anybody that follows basketball is keenly aware of this, so this isn't meant to be an earth-shattering fact, but if you start shooting well, you seem to play both ends of the floor pretty well.
I think you do. You know, a lot of times you can play great defense, but if you don't put the ball in the hole, people think you're playing bad tonight.
Well, that's right.
You got to put the ball in there.
All right. Well, settle back. Minute and 35. Great to have you with us along the network line tonight. Ball will be inbounded by St. Francis. Leonard gets the ball to Gilroy. Okay, now they go back to Leonard and trying to get in there from behind and steal it as Bone. Bone commits his 4th foul. Not much of a course of action for Mendota except a foul. Now we're going to see the Trojans have to be very careful to make sure they're going for the ball because of the intentional foul rule.
I think right now these free throws right now for Leonard are very important for him in terms of tomorrow. They got to get him in the right frame of mind. He's not in the right frame of mind right now. If he can sink both of these, and he's going to be ready to play tomorrow. He may be ready to play anyway. But
there you saw the graphic on Brian Schmidt. 4 out of 5 from the three-point land here tonight. Leonard's throw misses. Bone clears it.
But tomorrow's another day, and he may come out of it.
They may not be there. Here is Schinholz. Schinholz on the drive, and now it's suddenly 64 to 58. It's a 6-point ball game. Mendota pressing all over the place. Healy being hounded by Jeff Bond. And we have a foul. Bond is fouled out with 1:12 to go. I'll tell you, Mendota has closed this thing to 6 with a lot of time left. Jeff Bond just checks out on fouls. They lose him with 1:12 left to go. Mike Kilmartin ball clubs are very, very typical of this. This is a normal ball game against a good opponent from them, and Mendota has always been a running basketball team. The late Bob Beals, a great coach at Mendota. I know a good friend of yours, Ed. He had very similar type ball clubs, and the uncle of Steve Hansen, Willie Hansen, was one of his all-time superstars. And St. Francis also.
Now just goes to show you,
never give up. Never, ever give up.
Healy at the line. There's a big, big free throw right there by Mike Healy. So Wheaton St. Francis, 65 to 58.
At least 3 possessions now.
Well, you want to come down here and play well. You want to play best, be very competitive, and certainly these clubs have been just that. Second throw, Healy. Short. He just barely scraped the rim, almost an air ball. All right, Barrera. The junior brings it up. Number 4 for Mendota to Schinholz. Schinholz going to launch a three-pointer. It's short, partially deflected. Leonard comes up with the basketball, and now Barrera fouls as the ball comes on the floor, and he commits foul number 3. Problem is when you get down in a game like this and you have to take that three-point shot, the tendency to have it blocked or to come up short, things of that sort, the defense knows you got to throw it up there. They're right in your lap many times.
Well, usually you don't get a three-pointer block, but that time it did.
Yeah, particularly when you're 6'4".
Yeah, I know.
But it happens. Dan Leonard, who has just 1 field goal this evening. 2 points. He missed on his only previous effort at the line. He got that one. His next appearance, he's liable to explode with a big scoring effort. 17-point average on the season. But his teammates have done such a good job tonight.
Everybody's picked it up and turned it up a notch.
Leonard has 1 more throw. He gets a pair.
That'll help. Did you see what he said? About time.
Yeah. 67 to 58 with 1 minute and a second left, and this is the first of 2, of course, tonight. The Pioneers of Rock Island, Iowa. The last time they were here was 25 long years ago. They will take on Tuscola. Tuscola, the ball club that came up with the unbelievable fourth quarter rally on Tuesday night and eliminated Springfield Calvary by a margin of 86 to 84. So I would assume you've seen Tuscola. They obviously can put some points on the board, Ed.
They put some points on the board. Yeah, you know, they haven't had a lot of close ball games this year. Monticello beat them, I think, the 2nd or 3rd game of the year, and then they've run off quite a streak since then.
And Alleman, of course, has been very, very solid indeed. The Pioneers 22-7 at this point in the season. So we're looking for another great ball game out here this evening.
Well, they play in that great conference up there. They had to play Quincy and Rock Island and East Moline, so you know they play the competition.
Alleman, of course, the Western Big Six. Mendota, the North Central. St. Francis of Wheaton, we're seeing the West Suburban Catholic. These clubs are battle-tested against Class A ball clubs or Double-A ball clubs, and it helps. There's no doubt about it.
They are. They've played good competition all year, and you get down to a situation like this, you can tell.
Minute and a second left to go. It's 67 to 58. St. Francis by 9. Ball inbounded by Steve Hansen. Here is Brian Schmidt. Schmidt for Mendota. On the left-hand dribble, off to Hansen. Hansen eyes it, tries it at 3. Won't go. Rebound. Gary Barrera back to Hansen. Hansen has fouled this trip as England collides with him. Foul number 4 on Scott England. 46 seconds showing.
I don't think Coach Harper wants to stop the clock stopped.
No, I sure wouldn't. And a couple of three-pointers. Suddenly, Mendota's right on top of him again. At the line goes Hansen. Here comes Mark Bond back in. Tony McLaughlin back in. Schmidt leaves. Took Schinholz out as well. 1-1 for Hansen. Hansen can make this a 7-point ball game if he gets them both with 46 seconds left. Modern era, that's 3-possession basketball to get back in it. Charity toss is good. 67 to 59. One more throw coming to Steve Hansen, senior veteran for Mendota, 6'2", 170-pounder. Second throw won't go down. Rebound Gilroy. And Gilroy was fouled by McLaughlin coming off that defensive board. So we parade to the free throw line at the opposite end. And there you see the Mendota platoon checking in again.
You know, Gilroy's had a pretty solid game.
Yes, he really has.
Off the board, defensively, on the blocks, offensively, all around.
15-point performance. At the line is going to be Jason Gilroy. This will be win number 27 out of 30 for St. Francis. Free throw. And Schmidt brings it up for Mendota. To Shinholz. Shinholz all the way to the glass. Pretty move as he hammers it home. 67-61 with 35 seconds left. Blocking foul on Dan Bone.
Too bad they were out of timeouts.
So Bone is going to foul out with 34 seconds left. Bone finishes with 7 points here in the Assembly Hall. Mendota has refused to die in this ball game. Joel Perez checks in for the Trojans. His first appearance in the tournament. Perez comes on, 5'10", 155, 17-year-old junior. We'll see another collision here. Yeah, that Bone got him pretty good.
Yeah, he moved out.
The network sponsors, John Deere, Country Companies, DeKalb Pfizer Genetics, and the dairy farmers of Wisconsin, Illinois, all happy to be a part of this telecast. I hope you're enjoying the action. Don't forget, we'll be back here tomorrow and again next week. Next week, of course, the AA tournament. And some monumental matchups starting to shape up in that one. They're deciding sectional championships tonight. Leonard has found the range at the line. He is now 3 in a row. St. Francis by 7, 68-61. A very game Mendota bid. Being staved off here by an equally game St. Francis ball club. Leonard's second throw. Rebound. Shinholz. 6'4" clears to Perez. Perez to Schmidt. Errant pass intercepted by Healy. He's going to have the layup, and he got it.
He had it read all the way, didn't he?
That'll pretty well wrap it. 70-61 with 24 seconds left. Up with it is Schmidt. Schmidt flips off to Hansen. Hansen's fade away at 18. Almost went, but not quite as Jamie Green grabs the rebound. We got a foul on Joel Perez of Mendota. Well, Mike Kilmartin's team has certainly not been dull this year up at Mendota. He comes in at 17-12. They started the season by losing their first 3 in the Princeton Thanksgiving tournament, and we're not overly optimistic, but then things started to swing up and down, up and down. They played well down the stretch and have made certainly a very, very acceptable performance, competitive performance here tonight.
Well, you know, they were in the football playoffs again for, I think, for the 2nd year in a row, and I think, you know, that 3 or 4 of the guys play football, and I think, you know, trying to get their basketball legs.
Yeah, well, it takes a little time. Bone and Mark Bond are both football players. Some of the kids out there now are as well. Also in the Mendota lineup is Rob Doherty, number 3. And there's a good look at the free throw line at Jamie Green. Had a good ball game. He can't get that one to stick, however. Pulled out of there. Green steals it right back, goes in and is fouled. The ball was taken away by Tim Hughes. And immediately, Ryan Posley of Mendota fouled him. Here's a look at Mr. Posley. Just came in the ball game. And Jamie Green going to be at the line. 2 shots for Jamie Green. Missed up there a moment ago. Got it. So it's 71-61. Art Kimball, Frank Massoni, Ed Butkovich, and Jim Albrecht with you from the Assembly Hall. Quarterfinal round of the Class A state tournament for 1989. Second throw by Green. It rattles home, 72-61. 11-point lead to St. Francis. Their biggest margin, I believe, has been 17. Perez from the side. No good at 3-point range. Rebound. Pulled down by Leonard. 1 second. All over. The game is history, and St. Francis of Wheaton pulls out an 11-point victory. With just a very, very solid performance. Coaches shake hands out in front of our broadcast booth. There's Mike Kilmartin. His assistant, Mike Wasmer, with St. Francis, Mike Harper. And both teams played extremely hard. It's the kind of basketball game that you expect to see in the state tournament series. just a knockdown, drag out, run and shoot ball game. St. Francis played very, very well, primarily through 3 quarters, I thought, Ed, and then maybe wore down just a little bit, but who in the world wouldn't with the pace? Mendota had kind of I thought, a little bit of a physical slump midway, and they came on strong, got their second win.
It looked like they got a little bit tired in the 3rd quarter, and then they picked it up and played a little notch above what they were doing, and they come back and made a real fine comeback. It looked like they might do it there for a minute. They got within 6 there with about a minute and 30 to go or something like that.
Well, they're 2 basketball teams, as we said during the broadcast, cut pretty much from the same cloth, I think. Both teams like to run. They like to push it up the floor. They play pretty good defense. A lot of man-to-man. Mendota used a little bit of zone tonight, but basically both teams were just going after them in a man-to-man concept. Made for a great entertainment, as we've said repeatedly.
No question about getting up and down the floor. A nice tennis match out there.
It really was. By quarters, this back quickly. 24-16 is the way it stood at the end of 1. And then it was 38-26 at halftime, 12-point lead to Wheaton St. Francis. Then it became a 57-42 score. St. Francis led, and then, of course, the final of 72-61. But again, both basketball teams with very, very competitive situation here. And as Ed points out, I think probably as accurately as anything I've heard all night, both are going to be dog-tired.
Well, I think St. Francis bench really did a great job. And I had some young gentlemen to come off the bench and did an excellent job for him. Driscoll did a real good job. I was really impressed with him. I thought he did an excellent job.
Looking very quickly here, we'll get a more complete rundown on point totals, but St. Francis, this had great balance. 16 from England. Gilroy had a 15. Jamie Green with 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 17, that sort of thing. So they had great balance. Let's take a little break here from basketball. Enjoy the Columbia High School pep band that's performing down here, and Jim Albrecht is down talking with the band director, and going to tell us all we ever want to know about pep bands. Jim?
You got that right, Art. I'm standing with Michael Biscala. He is the director of the pep band, the Columbia Eagles. They've been here not once, not twice, but 3 times. First of all, Michael, how do you get down here?
We send in an audition tape. Every high school in the state has a form sent to them, and if you wish, you could send in an audition tape. From there, they have a committee up here at the state offices which picks the best bands to perform here at the tournaments.
Times have changed in just about everything, I assume in pep bands as well. I'm hearing all kinds of music. You guys are cooking.
Oh, well, thank you very much. It's a lot of fun. I tell you, the atmosphere here is just super, and the kids work really hard, extra hard, just to get here. And it's well worth it, and it makes it a lot more fun.
You mentioned the kids, you know, and everybody's down here looking at basketball players, but I don't know what the count is, but there's an awful lot of kids in music these days across not only the state of Illinois, but America.
Yes, there are. And well, for example, in our district, we're just really happy. We have 1/3 of the high school band is, well, 1/3 of the high school enrollment is in the band.
Is that right?
That's right. And we have about 300 kids in the high school. We have about 100 in the band. So it was really tough even picking the kids to come here this evening.
I'll tell you what, Michael, why don't you go strut your stuff and I'll intro you, okay?
All right. Thanks a lot.
All righty. That is Michael Biscala, the Columbia Eagle pep band. They're performing for the 3rd time here at the state tournament. Game number 4 running a little bit late, but it's coming your way. Tuscola and Alleman. Here's the band.
Frank Bissoni here, and it's always a pleasure to welcome Associate Executive Secretary of the IHSA, Dave Fry. Dave, what about the atmosphere of this magnificent March Madness?
Well, Frank, you look at a crowd like this, and it gets more magnetic all the time, seems to me like.
Tuscola and Alleman coming up, and we've got a big house here tonight from both schools.
We really do. I think the 22 miles to Tuscola helps a bunch, but the Quad Cities has always followed real well. They're a terrific group of folks.
We have some fine young people in academics as well as athletics throughout this state. What are some of the activities going around with high school students in Illinois?
Well, this weekend over in Bloomington Normal, the state debate tournament is underway. A couple of weeks we'll have drama competition. That will be polished off here at Parkland College in Champaign. Scholastic Bowl comes along in April, so there's a lot besides sports.
A couple of people asked me earlier today about that Scholastic Bowl. They said if you get an IHSA official, ask him to explain what the Scholastic Bowl is for the viewers.
The simplest way for me to explain it, because I'm old enough, is if you remember the old College Bowl on TV, that's about what this is. It's a quiz competition in a variety of academic areas.
And it's open to students from all over the state?
Absolutely. There are, I believe, around 400 high schools participating now. They participate as teams and work right down through an elimination bracket to a state championship.
Dave, what kind of percentage of high school students in Illinois participate in some of the IHSA activities, and what are some of those?
Well, about 55 out of every 100 kids is involved in some kind of interscholastic activity. Music, speech, student government, athletics, what have you.
Speaking of athletics, the tournament so far has had a lot of people predicting winners from all around the state. Nobody's come up with one yet. What's your feel about how this tournament's going?
Well, I think it's going very well. This afternoon we had one crackerjack game in the first ball game. Second one got a little unbalanced. Terrific ball game here, even though St. Francis seemed in control, and I look forward to another great one coming right up.
Any changes coming up in the IHSA that we can talk about, whether it's rules or activities or events?
Probably the most significant change is an amendment to the age limitation that tightens that rule down a little bit and makes it a little more equitable for all students. The cooperative team program has probably been the single biggest change in recent years, however.
What about any of the rules for basketball? We've heard a lot about the coaching box or the seated rule. What's coming up there?
Well, we don't know for sure. There's been a lot of talk about the coaching box or something to change the bench decorum arrangement. So far, the principals in our state seem to like that rule the way it is. So I don't anticipate a change there shortly.
We have a three-point shot in the state of Illinois. Are we going to have a clock?
Well, I love the three-point shot, but I don't think we're going to have a shot clock in the near future.
Okay, Dave Fry, thank you very much for being with us. We always enjoy the visit. All the best to you.
Thanks, Frank.
David Fry from the IHSA. We're going to come back in just a moment, but now let's take a break. From our network sponsors of today's telecast.
This Illinois High School Association presentation is being brought to you by the Country Companies and their more than 900 agents throughout Illinois. You've got the country behind you. John Deere, recognizing basketball leaders, inviting you to see leadership at work with the whole new line of John Deere equipment. DeKalb Pfizer Genetics and the more than 850 Illinois DeKalb Pfizer dealers. And by the dairy farmers of Illinois and Wisconsin. Cool and refreshing milk. It does a body good.
Our guest is Bob DeDonker, the coach of the Pioneers of Rock Island Alleman, and first game ran long, Bob, and I was just laughing a little bit. You could care less if you can pull out the ball game, huh?
Oh, you bet. We're just excited to be here. We're having a lot of fun.
You beat Orion in the Super Sectional. Your team has maybe been a little bit of the surprise category overall.
Oh, yeah, there wasn't many people who knew about us all year because of the conference we play in. And, you know, they started wondering, you know, where we're coming from. But we play almost an entire Class 2A schedule, and we're playing rather well right now.
I was going to say, a Western Big Six is a tough way to make a living, Bob.
Well, when you got to go against the Duncan Reeds and Jerry Liggets every week, you know, it's pretty tough.
Alleman, however, has one of the great athletic traditions in Illinois in all sports. Basketball, not the least of it. The late Don Morris had great teams. You played over there. It's a tradition I know you certainly are happy with.
Oh, you bet. And it's coming back. Our program is really strong right now. We got some great kids in the lower grades, and we're very pleased to be where we're at. I was fortunate to play with Coach Morris and coach with him, and to come back and now coaching that school is great.
Let's the strength of your ball club? What would you pinpoint?
Probably our strength is our quickness and our strength itself. We're a very strong group of kids. We run the floor very well, and we try to utilize our quickness as much as possible.
What about Tuscola? Here's the ball club only 22 miles away, and they're practically playing a home game, I guess.
Yeah, you know, this is almost like a home court advantage for them. I'm sure the crowd's going to be up for them. They're a very fine ball club. You go over their roster, all 5 of their starters average total over 60% from the field. That's tremendous shooting. I don't know how you stop that.
I always think it's kind of pins and needles steady for the coaches the last ball game, watching that first game at night, because you know if you win, you got to play the winner. You want to scout a little bit, you want some information, but your mind's not really on that. Your mind's on the game upcoming.
No, you really don't have much of a chance. That's where you have assistants. You try to get them locked in to do that, so when you come back tomorrow, you can be a little bit better prepared.
What do you think will be the key to this ball game? You know Tuscola, certainly.
Oh, yeah, I think the key is us to take care of the ball against their pressure, convert offensively when they change up their defenses, and we want to get some transition off them. If we can get some, we think we got a good shot against them.
Bob, the three-point shot has been the big story of this tournament so far.
Yeah, and we've got a couple kids to put up. Brian Wolf and Todd Woods are 2 of the best three-point shooters in the West to make 6. And I know they've got one young man who's a fine three-point shooter, so it'll be interesting.
Boy, that has changed coaching, though. It really has, hasn't it?
Oh, it sure does. When we were in the finals of Super Sectional, we were up 6 points with 19 seconds left, and our kids are celebrating, and they don't realize the 2 threes, and boy, you may be going home.
Well, listen, the ball game, Mendota was down, I think, 8 or 9, 3 possessions. They're on top.
Yeah, and you just can't. Your kids can't forget that, and they do, and they fall asleep, and a lot of times they'll forget where the shooters are, which is crazy, And that's what drives us nuts.
That's what you're paid for. Tell them where those shooters are. Bob, best wishes to you.
Thank you very much.
Bob DeDonker, the head basketball coach of the Pioneers of Rock Island, Alaman. We have Kerry Kincaid. Kerry, good to see you, and certainly I know for Tuscola, for your ball club, what a thrill this is.
Most certainly, yeah.
I'd say you've got pretty good representation. Anybody in Tuscola right now?
Probably a pretty good portion of them, yeah.
The ball game, of course, is the Super Sectional, Kerry. I know you've been asked about this a jillion times, but a tremendous comeback to pull that one out against Springfield Cavalry.
Yeah, against a very good ball club, too. They're fantastic athletes at Springfield. Our kids just kind of hung in there and stayed together and came through in the end.
How do you characterize this team of yours?
Well, we're well-balanced offensively, defensively. We got guys who want to go out and play ball and hustle. They enjoy playing the game. They play it all summer. They work at it all the time, so it's a tribute to them that they've gotten this far.
You're really not the ball club of the superstar, are you? Pretty good balance.
Real good balance. We've had every starter's been over 20 at one time this year, and every starter's been leading scorer in a game at one time this year, and any of the 5 can take over a game at any time.
What's the key against Alaman?
Well, we've got to run our game, but we can't let them get a lot of easy transition baskets. We gave up a lot against Springfield. I don't know whether we were lucky or not, but we still came out on top, too. I don't think we're going to be able to give this team as many easy crips.
Hey, you put 86 points on the board, though.
Yeah. Well, you can afford to give up a few, but not as many as we gave.
Kerry, this has to be the biggest thrill of your coaching career, most certainly.
Most definitely. I'm excited to be here.
I suppose this the anticipation of this ball game tonight, so we're going to let you relax a little bit. You got a few minutes before they tip it off, but thanks so much for the visit and best wishes to you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Kerry Kincaid, the head coach at Tuscola, and they'll be battling the Pioneers of Alaman shortly, and we'll be back. But first, let's pause for these messages.
The final stats are in from the St. Francis-Mendota game. As you can see, St. Francis shooting a blistering 55% on 29 of 53. Mendota just 40% from the field. At the free throw line, 25 tries for St. Francis with 52% accuracy, 73% for Mendota. St. Francis also won the rebound battle by 5. They had 11 turnovers and turned Mendota over 19 times, a big key in their ball game, and 14 team fouls to 21. The leading scorer in the ball game for St. Francis, both Gilroy and Green, Jamie Green and Gilmore, with 17 points apiece. Scott England chipped in with 14, and the point guard Healy with a dozen for the winners from St. Francis, and they join the winners from this afternoon. For Mendota, Steve Hansen with 21. Schmidt had 17 off the bench. Schinholz had 10 to lead the way for an excellent season closing out for Mendota here this evening in the Assembly Hall. Now we're set to go back to the floor. Here's Art Kimball.
Thank you very much, Frank. Scott Olson is with us, the coach at Orion, who lost in the Super Sectional at Moline to this Alleman ball club. And Scott, forgive me for looking at my notes real quickly, 54-49. You had quite a battle with the Pioneers, didn't you?
Yes, it was. It was a great game in front of a packed house, and it was a 1-2-point game almost the entire stretch. And Alleman came back and took the lead in the final minute and won the ball game.
I have the word on good authority that neither you nor Bob DeDunker got the least bit excited.
Not at all, not at all.
What can we look for from this Pioneer ball club? It's been 25 years since they made the state finals, and they have a great tradition, however.
Yes, Alleman has a great tradition. They have a very good player in Brian Wolf. We had a lot of trouble stopping him. They also play 4 other players outside perimeter in terms of defense. They're a good pressure team. They'll half-court trap you. They're not very deep. They only have 1 person coming off the bench, but they do have good quickness, and they're very physical.
I imagine a tough blow maybe over in your area, Scott, when Alleman went Class A, considering who they played during the regular season, Western Big Six. The tough schedule is certainly an advantage if you don't get down mentally.
Yes, it should help them a little bit, and obviously they're very physical. We came out and we tried to play very physical, and I think it improves their quickness when they play against teams like Rock Island and East Moline.
What did you tell me you had your key ball player in foul trouble in that ball game, and that really put a few shackles on what you wanted to do?
Yes, our 6'5" kid Greg Orendorf was on the bench for approximately 3 quarters, and to attack their trap, we tried to go inside, and he's the man we want to go to. The kids played fantastic. We had a 7-point lead there for a while, just to keep it that close.
Scott, any surprises thus far today, in your opinion?
I tell you, Prairie Central looks excellent, and I just saw the team out here at Wheaton just played St. Francis. Very good ball club, been very deep.
And Carlisle, of course, has those Twin Towers inside. As usual, we're going to have a fine semifinal pairing, regardless of the winner here.
It's going to be very interesting. I was watching Michaels. I know he's going to Illinois. He's not as physical as I thought he would be, so I'm going to be very interested to see how Prairie Central stacks up inside against them.
All right, if you had to play Alleman again, if you had another opportunity, what would you do differently, except obviously keep your guy out of foul trouble?
Well, I think we do the same thing. Basically, you have to get past their pressure out front and attack the baseline. If you can do that, you'll be successful. Also, I think Alleman's going to have to try to keep Wolf out of foul trouble. If he's in foul trouble, it's going to be a long night for him.
Scott, season overall, your best at Orion?
Yes, it's my only 2nd year, so it was a great year, and it's the farthest Orion's ever gone. And we have a lot of the players returning, so we're trying to get down here next year.
Well, you have a good shot with a good veteran ball club back, and certainly congratulations for a fine year.
Thank you very much, Art.
You got a forecast on this one for us?
I have not seen Tuscola. I know it's going to be a close game. Both of them have 5 players that they play most of the time, and it should be a heck of a battle.
Heck, you could be a reporter. You're cagey.
That's right. I have no bets on this game.
Thanks a lot, Scott. Great. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Scott Olson, the coach at Orion. And now a message from one of your network sponsors, John Deere.
Welcome back to the Assembly Hall. Jim Albrecht along with Ed Butkovitz. There you see the stats on the Alleman Pioneers located in Rock Island. Their record of 22-7. The enrollment actually down from that figure. It's now 497. The colors, a lot of green and white out here tonight. And, of course, they play in the Western Big Six, the same conference as the Rock Islands and the Quincy's and the East Molines and Galesburgs. As far as the Tuscola Warriors, black and gold is what they'll wear. Enrollment 231. The town only has 4,200 people, and Ed, I think they're just about all here tonight. The Little Okaw Valley Conference is where they come from. This is an interesting game, Ed, because if you look at statistics, sometimes they lie, but when you look at the starting 5 for Tuscola combined, they shoot 59% from the floor. What does that tell you as a coach?
Well, it means they get the ball in the hole, is what it means. They've got 2 gentlemen that are over 63%, I think. And, you know, for a balance to have all 5 guys over 50%, it's phenomenal in this day and age, and even as much time as the kids put into shooting. But, you know, they played well all year long. They lost their 3rd game of the season, and then they run off that big streak. And they play good, solid defense, and they play it from end to end. And I know Rock Island handles the press pretty well, but they're going to have to handle a man-to-man press pretty well. And Rock Island's got a big ball club in the schedule they play. You know, you would think right now, looking at it, that maybe the advantage to go to Rock Island. But I tell you what, after I seen Tuscola play Tuesday night, they play with a lot of heart, boy. They've got a dream, and their dream was to come up there and play in the big house, and everybody's had that dream. But I mean, these 2 teams, along with the other ones there tonight, have fulfilled build at this year.
Tuscola comes in with a 26-game winning streak. No one can top that in the Class A. When you look at the Alderman Pioneers, they suffered a severe blow in the form of Mark Ackerman, who will not play tonight, the starting forward, taken off the team for one day. He is in street clothes in violation of team rules, according to Principal Alan Gorgel, and that can't help him because when you look at these two teams, bench is not their forte.
Well, both of them have went with probably a starting 5 most of the year, and they haven't went to their bench, although I think probably Tuscola's had an opportunity to use kids a little bit more because they've won a lot of games by big scores, and consequently some of those kids have got opportunities to play. But I know with Alleman's schedule, they probably have a lot of games that are so close that a lot of times it's not the coach doesn't have an opportunity to get those kids in there.
Alleman comes in having lost only one Class A game. That was to Kewanee, 50-47.